Hello soul friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Laura, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to make a corset jumpsuit with a bra cup. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed. Turn off your post notification, like and share the video. Thank you so much. So this is my shoulder line, and this is my bust point. This is my under bust, and this is my waist line. So on my shoulder line, I'm going to be dividing my shoulder by 2, and I'll place it on the shoulder line. Then I'll come down by 1 inch. Then I'm going to just slant that in. Then on that shoulder slope, I'll just mark my armhole measurement. That's going to be my chest line. Then I'll just connect that shoulder slope line down to my chest line. Then on my chest line, I'll be dividing my bust measurement by 4, and I'll just mark it here. Then that my armhole line, I'm just going to find the midpoint there. Come in by 1/2 inch. Then I'll just use my curve ruler and connect from that my shoulder line down to that dot, that point, and also all the way up to my shoulder slope. Okay, so the next one, I'll just divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and add 1/2 inch. That's my dart measurement by 2. Then add 1/2 inch. I'll place it on my underbust and my waistline, and I'm going to be drawing a straight line just to connect the dot. Then at my bust point, I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch. To know that this pattern is on full, then I'll bring in my bra cup and I'll place it on the underbust line. You can see. Then I'll trace it out. Please be gentle and be careful when tracing this part out. Just trace it out. Then that I'll be subtracting 1/2 inch. Then I'll just connect it down. So my bust measurement is already there, divided by 4. Then my waist measurement, I'll be dividing it by 4. And I'll just connect this line. Then I'll just be adding the allowance, the dart allowance. So that's 1. I'm going to be adding 1. Then I'll add extra 1 again for the seam allowance. But please, you can add more than 1 inch. Please, you can add up to 1.5 or 2 inches. So at my bust, my chest line, I'll add 1 inch again. Please, you can add more than 1 inch. I connect it, and we are done. I cut it out. It's very, very simple. Then I'll place the front pattern to another pattern paper, then keep 1.5 for zip allowance, then mark the length of it. Then I'm going to be marking my dart measurement. The same thing, divide the dart measurement by 2, add ½ inch allowance, and I'll connect this together. Then from that waistline, I'll be subtracting half inch, half inch. So the next thing here now, I'm just going to be putting my bust measurement and my waist measurement. So I'll divide my bust measurement by 4 and I'll put it here. Add allowance. That's what I'm saying. You can add up to 1.5 or 2 inches allowance. Then at my waist, I'm going to be marking my waist by 4. I'm going to be including that 1 inch allowance, then an extra allowance. I hope you understand. Then I'll cut it, as simple as that. Sorry, for the zip at the back, I'll just subtract that 1 inch there so that my zip will be flat. It's not going to be, that puffy. That's always very important. Then I cut. Okay, I'm through with the corset cutting, the upper part. And this is my back piece. And this is my front piece. So you go ahead and add allowance to it when you're cutting it to the fabric. I'm going to be showing you where to add allowance here. That's down part, showing you. I'll make a different video on how to sew this particular tutorial, and I'll show you how to add allowance to it. So watch out for the next video. So let's move down to the trouser part. I will show you how to take your crotch measurement. So this is how to take a crotch measurement. If you don't know, take your tape to your waist where it's going to, have the joining. Then take that tape measurement, take it all the way to the flat surface down. So this is my crotch measurement. This is how to take a crotch measurement. So I'm marking from my waist to my hip measurements. Then I'm marking the crotch measurement, the one which I just finished showing you how to take my crotch measurement. Then I'll just go ahead and connect those lines together. Connect them together. So this is my waistline, my hip line, and also my crotch line. So on the hip line, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurement by 4 and I'll place it on the hip line. So I'll place it on the hip line, my hip measurement divided by 4, and I'll place it also on my crotch line and also on my waist line. Then I'll go ahead with my straight ruler and just connect those dots together. So to have that crotch curve, I'm going to be dividing this, my hip measurement here that I put, I'll divide it by 4 to have my crotch curve measurement. I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut a trouser. I will link it in the description box. A very detailed tutorial. So I'm going to put my crotch, that measurement there, and I'll just curve it in. So I'm going to find the center point of this trouser. So I'm going to go ahead and measure down my crotch line measurement there, and I'll divide it by 2 and have my midpoint, that's my center line, so that we can we can put down our measurements. So I'll take it all the way up, all the way down. I also have to draw a straight line. So this is our center line. Then on the waistline, I'll just mark my waist measurement divided by 4. I'll add 0.5 for ease, and I'll also add 1 inch for that because this trouser or jumpsuit will have a dart. Then I'll connect that line all the way to my hip line. Then I'll come down from my crotch line 4 inches to mark my thigh measurement. So this is my thigh line. So I'll divide my thigh measurement by 2. Then I'll place it on that line. But I'm going to be centralizing it. You can see my thigh measurement. I'm going to be putting it at the middle. So this is always the importance of this line. Everything should be centralized. Then I'll just connect from that crotch line down to the thigh, and I'll do the same from the thigh down all the way up to the crotch line. Then I'll use this measurement. I'll just draw a straight line all the way down because my trouser is not a pencil trouser. It's a kind of a wide leg trouser. I don't want it tight. I want it loose at the, the leg. So I'll connect it all the way down to the full length. So if you wanted a more fitted trouser, you just implement your knee there, centralize it, even your ankle measurement, and it to give you that shape of a pant trouser. So at the center line, I'll just be coming in by half an inch. That's then I'll come down by 4 inches. I'll be adding that to it. That's why I added 1 extra inch allowance. Please, if you have not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also turn off your post notification, like the video. So I'll go ahead and add allowance, but I'm not adding allowance to this pattern paper because I want to use it and place it on a different pattern paper and cut out for the back. So you can go ahead and add, but I want to cut this out because when I cut it on the fabric, I'll add my allowance. You can see the way I'm folding that allowance at the bottom. You fold it in and cut it. That's the only allowance I added to this pattern. So every other thing, I'm going to add it on the fabric. So I'll place this pattern down on a fresh pattern paper, and I want to mark for the back. Then for the back, you see this point here, we're going to be dividing it by 2 to have our center there. By 2. Then I'll go down again and take this measurement, this one here, and I'll add it here. And I'll just connect a straight line to it. So I just want to, mark my waist measurement for the back piece. So I'm going to take this front waist measurement here, and I'll just slant it down like this and mark for the back piece. Then on my thigh line, I'll just add 1 inch all the way down. Then I'll connect the dots together. Then at this point, I'm just going to come down by half inch. Then I'll extend it by 2 inches. That's for the back crotch. Then I'll connect that point all the way up to this extension we did. Then after that, at this point, I'll just add 1 inch all the way down. Then I'm just going to connect the lines. And your trouser is ready. This for our jumpsuit. So I'll be adding my allowance to the fabric. I have said it earlier, and I'll show you in a sewing. I'm making a sewing video, and I'll show you how to add the necessary allowance to it. So I have, sorry, we're not done. I'll take that measurement there and also add that for the back. Then I'll come down by 5 inch. Yes. Then the next thing I'm going to do, my jumpsuit will have pockets, and I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut and sew a trouser pocket to it. I'll link everything in the description box. Then for the front piece here, I'm just going to go ahead and take out my pockets here. I want to add pockets to it, so that's what I'm going to be doing here before cutting it out. So the next video, I'll show you the sewing process of it, how to add the necessary allowance to your pattern and cut, like for your jumpsuit. Please don't forget to like and also subscribe. We want to hit 5K subscribers on this channel by the end of the month. Yeah, we can do it. So my next video is going to be the sewing tutorial on how to make this style. Thank you so much.